What we have done differently this year is that we have done a big school improvement plan together. It's an informed plan by the needs of the school and by the resources of the school. We have looked this year, over the past 2 years, and adding on a virtual learning environment. So Denbigh is now online. We have a hybrid model of education. So in addition to the classroom activities, we have teachers teaching online. So we complement the contact time at school with the online time to ensure that additional time is given to bring the children up to standard. This year we have also changed or we assign children to classes. We don't have a ranking system internally. We have a mainstream concept where kids are now in classes to motivate each other. So we don't separate the good from the bad. We mix the classes so we can motivate each other. That has worked beautifully over the past 2 years.
Denbigh High is coming from afar, and for Mrs. Troupe to come to Denbigh, and I would say turn it into a goal, I feel really, really good.
We have also a cultural integration program at Denbigh, where the classes are named by Caribbean countries. So we integrate the Caribbean flavor in a subtle way to enrich the curriculum offerings. And so we can identify with our Caribbean neighbors, because we are saying we're not preparing kids only for Jamaica, we're preparing kids to meet the demands of globalization. We have also an enriched social program. Each year group at Denbigh gets a social experience. So at grade 7, they get a tea party. At grade 8, they get the evening of excellence in cocktail style. At grade 9, they get the prom. At grade 10, they get the prior breakfast. And at grade 11, they get the graduates dinner. So we have a complete program of education. And we have expanded our sporting programs this year as well. And we have changed our accountability framework for teachers to ensure that we maximize on contact time. So we have what we call the CIA plan, where we looked at the curriculum guide, we have revised it. We are monitoring the instruction activities, and we are looking at the assessment policy to ensure that we are delivering the best. When you look into the upgraded high school, sometimes you really do have a resource challenge. And it's not about the physical or the infrastructural resources, it's about the intake that you get. Sometimes, and I think when I looked at even the GSAT placement this year, I think this minister is trying to level the playing field. But I'm going to be frank with you. When you look at the intake for some schools, it's really hard. It's a big gap in which to move those kids in time with the other cohorts that they are going to be compared with. So it is an unfair ranking sometimes and demand. I'm not saying that we are not to add value. You understand? But we have to give the schools a balanced intake so that we can really say, is this school failing or is this school excelling?
As a support parent, I try to help the teacher to settle their children in classes. If a teacher should be running late, I would go to that class and help them to spell words and how they should break up their words in syllable. But as soon as the teacher came in, I leave because that would be her class. So whenever time I go to the class, they would say to me, "Miss, which high school you went to?" Because they said I spelled the word perfectly, and I should come back and mark their books, and I just feel elated to be there.
Our parents are very involved at Denbigh. We have probably the most active PTA in Clarendon, I tell you. When we invite, we are limited by infrastructure space in terms of a space to hold everybody on campus. So we have to have 2 separate PTAs each month. So the grade 7 to 9, there's a PTA meeting, and the grade 10 to 13, there's another PTA. We don't have space to hold them. So the turnout is exceptional, the relationship is exceptional, and they have also bought into the vision. I want to make and highlight, as it relates to how involved the parents are. The theme that we have been operating from for the past 2 years, that theme was designed and developed by the parent body. They felt very excited about what was going on. They really think that the school was soaring. And now, over the past 2 years, we have been operating for a theme, Denbigh High School Soaring to Greater Heights. And we have added this year through homeschool partnership, and that was generated by the parents. That goes to show you the kind of involvement and excitement that we are feeling both at the parent, student, and school level.
Some teachers just go to school because they're a teacher to go to school. But at the same time, you have some teachers who work their heart out to see that children grasp their curriculum that are set for them.
As it relates to accountability in schools, it is definitely struggling as a leader to ensure that teachers, whether it be senior managers or the general teaching staff, even the ancillary and admin staff, you have to work very hard to ensure that they comply to the accountability standard. It's not easy, especially if a culture is there where persons were not necessarily held accountable. But if you, as I said, if you share the vision and you get people to understand where you're going and you give them time to work into that process, I find that it works. I find that it can provide additional motivation for teachers. I mean, we're living in a very tight economic space, and additional resources for any family is good. And I find that persons can tend to be motivated by that. So if it's something that comes into the mix, I don't think it will take away too much. However, it has to be monitored, because the aim is not about the money. The aim is about getting children to be happy at school and to perform and to maximize their potential. So we have to ensure that if we move into that direction as a society, we have to balance it, and the children must be the focus and not the income. And we have to put systems in place to ensure that that also works and effective as it relates to the goals and targets of a school. But it can be beneficial as it relates to motivation. That one thing that I think will contribute significantly to the growth in the education sector is partnership. Any transformation that takes place, or any model school or school that are experiencing great success, is because of the partnership. Parents have to be on board, or students have to be on board, and the community has to be on board. I can tell you the transformation that is taking place in Denbigh right now, it is because of the partnership. And I want to reference one recent experience that we just had at Denbigh, where we invited all the external stakeholders into Denbigh, and we had a little celebration, looking at Denbigh then, Denbigh now, and Denbigh in the future, where we want to go. And I can tell you the stakeholders were so impressed with the movement, so impressed with what is coming, that they pledged right there and then $7 million to assist the school in procuring materials to improve the quality of education that we're offering.
I didn't get the right education that I should get, but I didn't stop my children from getting their education. So I would love to help whoever would listen to me, or when I sit down and can say, look, education is the key to success. Denbigh High or Maple Primary, whoever is soaring to a greater heights. So let's come and work. Take up your book when you have leisure time. Don't use it for playing, use it for study.
The government of Jamaica, I can admit, sends us less than $1,000 a month to have a child at school. Less than $1,000. So if we want to bring quality and we want to give more, parents will have to come on board. The community will have to come on board. Everybody will have to come on board. And I can tell you, if that happens, we'll have a better community, a better Jamaica. And that's what it will take. Partnership in education for the true product to be delivered into our communities.